Yo, this is a Cersei mood right here.
Like,
just tipsy, not giving a fuck,
drinking,
middle of fucking battle,
Blackwater drunk.
Big ol' Blackwater drunk.
I'm getting
big
Blackwater
mood.
drunk.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag Blackwater drunk.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm Nate. Joining me as always is my brother, Zach.
Whoa, what up, motherfucker?
Just kidding. That's not actually what we do around here.
Isn't.
But that's okay. If you have been here before, thank you for coming back. If you have not, we are full spoiler. We do talk about the series as a whole. So if you have not finished them and would like to not be spoiled, this is your one and only warning. Go finish, come back. Thank you.
Hey.
If you joined us last episode, we were reading... I completely groaned over you saying his name, and I think that's adequate.
Right.
And so, in this chapter, he's having all sorts of nightmares, guilt nightmares, and then afterwards pointed out by one of our listeners, demasculizing nightmares that are,
right.
Really just punching him in the grill with all the shit that he can't stand. He is awoken to Reek and Wex. They are letting him know that his sister Asha is in the Great Hall feasting with her men, the 20 men she brought. And so he approaches her. It does not go well for him. She starts calling him out on some shit, and they decide they should talk in private. They meet in his Ned's Solar.
That goes much to shame. She calls him on his shit and tells him he's a fucking idiot and he should come with her, and that he could have ended the war in a single stroke if he wasn't such an arrogant, cocky little shit and brought Brandon Rickon to Pike. Then yeah, it would have been great, but instead he fucked it up, and so
Asha's a badass.
She leaves with her 10 men and leaves 10 for Theon, and at this point Reek kind of saddles up to him and is like, I can find you some men, and Theon thinks, yeah, I don't really trust you, but I don't have much choice, and so he sends Reek off with a bag of gold and a horse to bring more men, which we know, as full spoiler reread, Reek is Ramsay, and Ramsay is probably going to the Dreadfort to bring Bolton men to fuck Theon up and clear out the Ironborn from Winterfell. And that was essentially it. Theon then revealed and kind of ruminated to himself that it was actually the Miller's boys and not Brandon Rickon.
And that he should have went with Asha, he says to himself.
Right.
So, but this episode we are reading Sansa 5.
Sansa.
And so last we left Sansa...
Jeez, what was Sansa doing?
I don't know. She was Sansa.
She had her first flowering, is what Sansa was doing, and she awoke freaking out, having some terrible dreams, and awoke with blood on her thighs from her first period. And she was freaking out because she knew that that meant she was now fit to wed in bed and have Joffrey's children, so she tried to burn it. Ended up failing at that. The maids found her and washed her and brought her to Cersei, and Cersei essentially said, yeah, well, you may never love Joffrey, but you'll at least love his children, and that's sort of our war. That's what the battle we fight, and it's just as bloody as all the men, and just Cersei's bitchiness toward it. And so, and the city is preparing for war, as we know through Tyrion, that Stannis is ever looming. And so we pick up Sansa 5, where they had been singing in the sept all morning since the very first report of the enemy sails had reached the castle. So Stannis is motherfucking here.
Yeah, they're out there.
In the sept, they sing for the mother's mercy, but on the walls it's the warrior they pray to, Sansa thinks, recalling Septa Mordane telling her that they were two faces of the same great god. And she wonders whose prayers will be heard.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that she, because she thinks that they're the same god, but why would it be a specific one of those faces receiving the prayers? That it almost seems like the way she thinks is that, well, only the god can only represent one of those faces at a time, and so it's only listening to this particular group's prayers at the moment. But that wouldn't, I would think. I mean, granted, what the fuck do I know about religion?
Yeah, it's an odd stance to take for her to take.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
Not she's like a little girl.
She's just a dumb girl.
No, she's like a young girl. She's just a little kid, not...
She notes Sir Meryn helping an armored Joffrey mount up on an armored horse.
Yo, this stupid cunt. I already want to just throw him off of the fucking horse and just kick him in the head.
Sunlight flashed off of Joffrey's golds and reds, and Sansa just thinks bright and shining and empty.
Wonderful. Yeah, and clearly giving that double entendre. Like, and it's funny that she's so young and she's still like, oh, what beautiful armor. Worn by the same exact thing as the armor itself.
Right.
Bright and shining and empty.
Yeah, she's on it in this chapter. She
yeah,
some
dude, she's
stingers.
sassy as fucking.
She notes the imp was mounted as well, armored more plainly, but looked a little ridiculous until she saw the battle axe hanging below his shield. Sir Mandon Moore rode at the imp's side, and Tyrion, noticing Sansa, asks if surely Cersei invited her to Maegor's Holdfast with all the other high ladies.
The fuck are you doing here?
And Sansa says she did, but King Joffrey wanted me here to see him off. So here I am, and I thought to stop at the sept and pray.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I won't ask who you're praying to win this one. And his mouth curls in what she thinks is a terrible attempt at a smile. Like, it's fucking awkward.
Like a little smirk.
But Tyrion kind of just starts ruminating, saying, maybe it's not safe for her here. Maybe I should have sent you with Tommen out of here. But anyway, Maegor should be fucking safe enough. And then, Sansa!
Yeah. So, back to his little smirk there for a second. Do you think that was her just misinterpreting something at all? Or do you think that was just a smirk?
I think Tyrion was thinking he was funny. He's trying, you're probably praying for us all to die, and I understand that.
Yeah,
so he's kind of mocking the situation, not mocking her, but...
Yeah, so back to Viserys incarnate.
And so Sansa here.
Daenerys!
And
where's my sister?
Joffrey had noticed her, and she thinks he summons me as if I were a dog.
Yeah.
As if we were talking to a dog.
Well, he summons his hound.
Yeah.
The hound the same way. Where's my hound?
So Tyrion says, well, it seems his grace has need of you, so we'll talk after the battle if the gods permit it. And Sansa makes her way through some gold cloaks over to where Joffrey is. And he shows her his new blade, Heart Eater.
Heart Eater. And she's a fucking stinger.
And Sansa immediately recalls his old sword, Lion's Tooth, which Arya had taken from him and yeeted into the river. And she hopes that Stannis does the same with this blade. And I love it.
That's funny as shit,
yeah.
Man. That's it.
So he essentially tells her that she should kiss his blade and bless his sword with a kiss. And
so first of all, 2 parts here. She's happy to do so because she doesn't have to kiss that fucker.
Right.
Second, she has never thought that he sounded more like a stupid little boy than right now.
Yeah.
Kiss my sword, bless it before battle.
But she does. She presses her lips to the cold steel, and he seems pleased with the gesture and tells her that she'll kiss it again when he returns and taste my uncle's blood. And she thinks only if one of the Kingsguard kill him for you.
Boom.
Yeah, man. And so she asks, will you be leading your knights into battle? And he says, I wanted to, but the imp says Stannis isn't going to even cross the river. And so I'm to command the 3 whores. I get to see to the traitors myself. And the prospect of such makes him smile, his gross little Joffrey smile. And she thinks of his pouty lips, how once they were hot, now they're gross.
Ugh. I think Ramsay now when I think of his nasty. Ugh.
And Sansa, again, just fucking yawking everywhere, just says, they say my brother Rob goes where the fighting is thickest.
He said, Martin wrote recklessly.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, that's a fucking.
Oh, yeah.
That's ballsy stuff to say. But, oh, man.
He's older than your grace, for sure.
A
man grown. Like, yeah.
Like, and she didn't pull any punches.
No.
It's okay. You're still just a boy. Don't worry.
Right. And all Joffrey says is that he'll deal with Robb after his uncle. He'll gut him from balls to brain with Heart Eater.
And so I did want to mention when he first pulled out Heart Eater that he was like, isn't she a fine blade? And she looked at him and said, it is a finely wrought blade. Yep. So her lying is kind of like, she's not lying at all. But she's not.
She's averting his asking of like, yes, it's a glorious sword for you, my king. It's a nicely forged blade.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, giving him no satisfaction. Fuck yeah. And so he says, I'll deal with Robb after my uncle.
And just turns and leaves.
And wheels around and rides off. The Kingsguard follow him. The imp and Sir Mandon bring up the rear. And a sudden stillness settled over the yard after they left. Just all the clangor was gone.
Yeah, which we've seen in quite a few chapters. Right. It happened with Bran in his chapter at one point. Arya and Harrenhal when Tywin left. There was that similar quiet, and so it's just that same thing we've seen before, where there's battle happening, they're riding out to battle, and now they're gone.
The singing from the sept pulls at her, and Sansa had never seen the sept so crowded. She heads that way, and a couple others fall in line with her, but she'd never seen it so crowded. Candles were burning everywhere. The mother and the warriors' altars were absolutely bathed in light.
But there were all the other ones did have their candles lit as well. The stranger, the maiden, the crone.
Right.
I'm missing some other ones.
No, yeah. All the other ones had them.
Smith,
and she's, it said even the stranger, and for what was Stannis Baratheon, if not the stranger, come to judge them, which is an interesting, very interesting line that Sansa is equating him to judgment. And so that's what her concern is that when Stannis takes the city, is he going to let her go because she's not Stark's daughter? Does Stannis hold some hidden grudge and she doesn't know that? So it's purely this, he's going to come in, he's probably going to execute Joffrey, execute Cersei, because fuck them, they're bad people, but what's he going to do with me?
What happens there?
And I like that idea of Stannis as the fucking,
the fucking justice coming through.
Justice!
Batman fucking flooding through.
So Sansa lights a candle at each altar and finds a place on the benches between an old washerwoman and a boy Rickon's age, and it was just good to having someone to hold on to as they hold hands and begin singing. And she joins her voice to the hymn. Yeah. And the same she knew was happening.
I thought it was very interesting. This because there's one particular hymn here that Martin includes in there. I didn't write it down, but I don't know if you did.
No.
Okay, so it's basically just about the mother and how gentle she is and caring and setting you at ease and calming you. The complete opposite of the mother that we are going to see Cersei being here shortly. Where, I just thought it was funny that she's in the sept, singing this song of the mother being, offering help
mercy,
and,
keep our sons
don't
from
worry,
war.
you're safe, and there's strength and comfort. But then we see Cersei, who's almost angelical, walking through with her fucking
almost
white
maiden-like.
And she's just
mocking it.
No.
Yeah, wait for Simeon Stareye and Aemon the Dragon Knight. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be fucking long.
Damn.
Yeah. It's a really good comparison and that's what Cersei's supposed to be in this scenario. She's supposed to be the queen who's keeping everyone, all the high ladies together and calm, and she's not at all.
Not at all.
So, Sansa knew that the same was happening across the city in the Great Sept of Baelor. They'd be singing too, their voices swelling over the city. Surely the gods must hear us, she thinks.
Yeah.
So she sings along with every hymn she knew. She sang for mercy. She sang for the living and dead alike, for Bran and Rickon and Robb, for her sister Arya and her bastard brother Jon Snow. She sang for her mother and father, for her grandfather Lord Hoster, for her uncle Edmure, for her friend Jane Poole, for drunk old King Robert, for Septa Mordane, Sir Dantos, Jory Cassel, and Maester Lewin, for all the knights and soldiers that would die, and for the children and wives who would mourn them. And toward the end, she even sang for Tyrion the Imp and the Hound.
Fucking sick. Now,
her own little list.
Does she know that Bran and Rickon are dead? Or quote-unquote dead?
I don't think she does.
Because I know that we are aware that Tyrion and Cersei do know at this point. Because they knew
I
before
think it
Battle
slipped
Blackwater.
their minds to inform her.
Slipped their minds, or they
Cersei wants to keep her in the dark. Right. Tyrion would inform her.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, Tyrion's so focused on the chain and Blackwater suddenly happening that it was the last Tyrion episode where he was delivering the news.
She has
so
no
I don't
idea
think Sansa knows, But it's Sansa's own little list.
That's cool, yeah.
And
it's prayers for
mercy and peace, It's
but a different kind of mercy than what
mercy,
mercy,
Patreoners. And so, I just loved that. Even at the end, for Tyrion the Imp and the Hound, she thinks of the Hound. He's no true knight, but he saved me all the same. Save him if you can, and gentle the rage inside him.
Dude.
That's the best kind of prayer you could give to
to the Hound.
Gentle the rage inside him. That's what
he's
needs
an angry
to do.
person.
Yeah, he's
Needs
angry.
to just let it go.
And needs to gentle that. Yeah.
Let it go.
Christ.
That's all you're getting.
As the High Septon begins praying for Joffrey's safety, though, Sansa's like, fuck this.
Done.
Yup.
Done.
And immediately drops people's hands and is like, nope, I ain't having it.
No way. Fucking out. And starts making for the door and says her own little prayer on the way out. And I fucking loved it. Because she says, she thinks it to herself, let his sword break and his shield shatter. let his courage fail him, and every man desert him.
Get shit on, Joffrey.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking
tight. It's great. And I love that she just leaves. She's like, nah, I'm not sitting here listening to these people play for Joffrey's safety.
Fuck that guy.
And so outside, aside from a few guards, the castle seems empty. But she listens, and in the distance, she can hear the sounds of battle. War horns and catapults flinging stones. And
over the singing that she can still kind of hear.
And the twang of the splash of the rocks hitting, and beneath it all, the cries of dying men. Another sort of song, a terrible song. So she pulls her hood up and hurries her way along to Maegor's Holdfast.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, I'm scared of the crying dead men, so I'm going to go and convene our small council, so I'll see you there.
All right. Nothing important.
Right. Nothing important. Fuck it, I guess that's how we're starting this small council.
Fuck a duck.
That's what's happening. Not duck fucking, just...
What up? This is a small council where we let us.
So this is the small council where we give you ways to contact us, so that way you can see in writing that we don't always jumble our words like we are right now. The easiest way to do so is contacting our email, withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com.
I'm pissed.
Do you want to add anything to this?
Nope.
Or are you going to sit there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can also be reached on Facebook, facebook.com/brotherhoodpodcast. I'm on Twitter, @MannersWithout. Zach over here, who's quietly raging in his own... I was going to say stewing in his own rage, but raging in his own stew sounds way worse. And, don't rage in your stew, folks. It doesn't look pleasant. Did I give your Twitter? @Carstark92? If not, double dosage. Fuck it. So we also have a Patreon. We're slow on our the Stannis episode's got a little more than we thought it was going to be. Right. So we're working on it, Patreoners. But if you're not on Patreon, you should be. You can pay a small little tiny bit. Helps us keep this thing flowing smooth as... What's something smooth? Contribute.
Fluff.
I like the peanut butter.
Marshmallow fluff.
Yeah, no, you're done. You're
smooth.
Back to quiet time for Zach. So... Patreon also grants you access to a private Facebook group. We have lots of fun in there. We discuss the episodes a little further, give, some opinions. You get some calls for your inductees, but you can always give your inductees any other way that you would like. What else? You got anything to add there? No, clearly not.
You work so hard at this show.
I know. Rate and review. Give us all those likes. We love it. Check us out on our social medias. And send us your inductees, man. We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
And I think with that, because I'm tired of just carrying this small council, nobody else showed up, that we're going to head into the episode and finish up some Sansa action where she's savage as fuck.
Fuck yeah.
All right. King's Landing at night's scary.
It's like dusk.
I guess
because the sun was coming into the windows at the sept. But
I'm dumb, I guess.
She gets to the drawbridge to Maegor's Holdfast and spots the Lady Tanda and her two daughters, Lawless and Felice. And poor Lawless is just having a hell of a time.
I don't want to.
Doesn't want to go across the drawbridge.
I don't want to.
Felice, we learned, just arrived yesterday from Castle Stokework with a little garrison of men.
So far, she seems like kind of a bitch.
Yeah. I mean... With a
name
with a name like Felice, and I'm sorry, listeners, if there's anyone named Felice, but you kind of expect sort of a bitchiness.
It just seems like a bitchy kind of name.
And so they're trying to coax her across, and Sansa can't avoid them, so offers help.
Yeah.
And I love it. She would, if she could, go in another entrance and be like, fuck that noise.
Yeah,
but she can't. So she's like, okay, can I be of service? And Lady Tanda's like, no.
Oh, shit.
You must forgive my daughter.
Embarrassed as all hell. And she's
like, thank you kindly for offering, Lady Sansa. And
now we also see that the maid is there because Sansa comments about Lawless kind of seeming like she just wants to push the maid over the drawbridge.
Other way around.
Oh, that Shay
Lawless is clinging to Shay.
And you
terrified.
can see that the maid wants to throw.
And Shay, Sansa immediately sees that Shay wants to push Lawless. Is looking like she wants to push Lawless onto the iron spikes below. Sansa is immediately picking up on Shay's disdain for her.
Which is interesting because we were just complimenting Shay on her ability to read people, reading Varys, and
I mean, I haven't complimented Shay in a couple episodes because of how fucking harsh she was towards Lawless.
We did get pretty
and so
savage with her,
I think this is just showing how good Sansa is. She immediately is like, "Yo, this maid hates this bitch and would fucking shove her over if we all
poor
were
Lawless,
here."
man. Like,
well, that's what I mean. Is
if
like
you're
Lawless
just scared of
is
heights,
just
maybe
fucking
she's a little sick. She's pregnant.
There's
she's
a
been
battle
raped.
The last time anything battle-like occurred, she got raped almost 50 or 60 times. So, she's a little fucking triggered. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But
a little PTSD going on.
Felice and Shay half carry, half drag Lawless across the bridge, and Sansa follows with Lady Tanda. And Lady Tanda just says, she's been sick. And Sansa's
very astute of her. If you can deem being pregnant sick.
Right.
Like,
that's the rumor going around.
Like,
and
everybody knows that.
I mean... And so the door is guarded by two Lannister men, two men in Lannister armor. But Sansa points out they're just dressed up sellswords.
Yeah, there's no way an actual guard would be sitting on the stairs with his halberd across his knees
and
like
his
that
helm
guy.
off. Yeah.
Granted, he did jump up as soon as he saw us approaching to open the door, but ain't fooling me.
So they're all ushered inside into the Queen's ballroom that could seat around 100 and was made up in grace what it lacked for in space.
Yeah, now this is the one that has all the mirrors behind the sconces, right? So
to make
the
it seem
torches
brighter.
are reflected. That's sick.
Yeah.
I think that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, it makes it seem brighter. There's pipers, there's fiddlers, and almost every highborn woman in the city were here, along with a handful of old men and young boys. And Sansa had the seat of honor right to the Queen's right hand, and she's climbing up the dais when in the fucking shadows.
Dude.
Like a vampire.
Which is kind of how she pictured him in that. Was it her Bran's dream, where Bran saw the shadow faced in the thing? Way back
Sir
in Game of
Ilan
Thrones?
Payne standing with Ice's point down on the ground, and he's holding the cross guards of the hilt in front of him, just looking all gross.
Looking fucking cool.
And so she asks Osford Kettleblack what he's doing here, and he grins and says, "Her Grace expects she'll have need of him before the night's done."
Yo, which obviously trips out the poor 12-year-old girl who's like, yo, who the fuck's head does Cersei want tonight?
She immediately is like, yeah, he's the king's justice, so if Cersei has need of him, she's killing someone. Who the fuck does she want dead? Like, again, Sansa's fucking nailing it and getting right to the heart of the fucking...
At which point Cersei is announced.
Yeah.
The High Queen.
And she's dapper, though. Like, she fucking comes in just hot as fuck.
Now, and it says that she's clearly been day drinking. Because she's coming in with some color in her cheeks.
Yeah.
Like, she knows there's a fucking battle. She's like, yo, nope. I need some wine first thing now.
She's in a snowy white gown, similar to the King's Guard robes, that made her look strangely innocent and almost maiden-like.
Yo, this is a Cersei mood right here.
Like...
just tipsy, not giving a fuck,
drinking,
middle of fucking battle,
Blackwater drunk.
Big ol' Blackwater drunk.
I'm getting
big
Blackwater
mood.
drunk.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag Blackwater drunk, because Cersei, it is.
Damn, Cersei back at it again with the day drinking.
So Cersei says, "Be seated and be welcome," and looks to Sansa and says, "You look pale," and asks if she's still flowering, and Sansa says that she is.
How apt. I have it quoted here somewhere. How apt the men will bleed out there, and you in here. I really liked that. Again,
Cersei's
we said,
a bitch.
She's coming in with a mood, but that is just a savage one. Like, oh, well, they're all bleeding out there, so how good that you have to suffer in here,
yeah,
bitch.
Dude, she's throwing mad shade.
Fuck.
Fucking, and so
immediately Sansa's like, why Sir Ilan right there?
To deal with treason and protect us if need be. And she says, "Trust me," and she gestures to the doors. "When the axes smash through those doors, you may be glad of him." And
she reminds her, before he was the king's justice, he was a knight.
Yeah. But Sansa thinks, "I would be gladder if it was the Hound." Harsh as Sandor was, Sansa believed he wouldn't ever let her come to harm. So...
Dude, she sees through his hard exterior to his teddy bear heart inside.
God damn it.
Which we'll never actually see, because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the character.
And Sansa asks, "Won't your gods protect us?" And Sansa says, "And who will protect us from my guards? Loyal sellswords are as rare as virgin whores, and if the battle is lost, my guards will trip on their crimson cloaks in haste to rip them off. They'll steal and flee. Do you know what happens? Do you have any notion of what happens when a city is sacked, Sansa?" "No, you wouldn't, would you? All you know of life, you learned from singers. Like,
boom.
Fuck.
And, like...
I mean, it's a lesson. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is... Yeah, no, if the city is fucking breached, like, we're all pretty much fucked.
We
like,
saw it, granted, it's been a while, but we saw it firsthand with Dany.
Right.
She went through, with the Dothraki when they were sacking all sorts of villages and cities and shit. And we've heard about it from when Tywin came in and sacked the King's Landing. But, yeah, she... And that's not to say, like, Cersei's kind of ignoring the fact that Catelyn and Old Nan did teach her things and explain things.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Cersei's being a bitch, yeah.
Yeah, but Sansa definitely did adore and does adore the songs and the stories and those, and so it's like one of those little hot topic buttons that everybody kind of shoots at her for, and it's like, just get off her back a little bit, man.
I mean, she's not putting that much stock in the songs anymore. Like,
right.
She did, but she's fucking learned that lesson.
She was also 10 when they were fucking starting that shit.
But Sansa does say true knights would never harm women and children, and even as she says them, the words ring hollow in her own ears, and she's like, oh yeah, I guess.
Oh, fuck.
Shit. And Cersei seemed amused at that, and says, true knights, why don't you just, it tells her, why don't you just eat your broth like a good little girl, and wait for Simon Stareyes and Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight to come and rescue you, sweetling. I'm sure it won't be very long now. Like, damn, just so much shade, Cersei.
Yeah, she's killing it.
And yeah, that's where it ends, because Sansa very soon will pick up again with Cersei getting drunker and throwing more shade.
Because we're in the midst of it. This is Blackwater.
Blackwater
this
will
is the start of it, because next is
Davos.
So and it's a fairly decent length chapter, like all three of Davos.
Blackwater lighting a fire, yeah.
And then from there it goes to Sansa Tyrion, or Tyrion Sansa, and then just back and forth between those two for a bit. And this is it. We're in it, man.
Yeah, I really like this chapter. It's pretty straightforward as far as Sansa just kind of hoping to make it fucking through the next 72 hours.
I never noticed it until this one, because this is obviously our first analytical reread through this. But Blackwater begins off page, kind of. And I really like the way he did that.
Blows exchange.
There's men dying currently when she's there. And so I just think it's really neat that we get the start of Blackwater through Sansa's eyes. Mm-hmm. And she's so calm.
We see the king. We see the hand riding through the walls to meet the enemies.
How the fuck is she just so... Like, I get that she's kind of, a little confused about little things here and there. But for the most part, I guess she's not a Lannister, and she's hoping that Stannis fucks shit up. That's how she's remaining. But goddamn, she is just cool as a fucking cucumber.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a little bit of what do I have left to lose? Because who can be worse than Joffrey?
No shit.
So, yeah, I think she's certainly... But she's also showing the growth in singing and praying for both the Hound and Tyrion.
Yeah.
So, they're not all evil. So, don't... Yeah, obviously Tyrion losing would benefit her at this point, but don't make him suffer if he's to die. Give him a clean death in battle. Same with Sandor, and actually Sandor, I think she really hopes survives because she obviously feels safe with him.
I don't think she wishes death on Tyrion.
I don't either.
If it came down
if he should lose, treat him gently.
Don't torture him.
Obviously, she's kind of hoping he loses because Stannis may free her. But got an inductee.
Me first?
Yeah. I can go first. I got mine.
You go first.
I'm going to give mine, I guess, to Sansa, but mainly to the comparison of Stannis to the Stranger, because I really like the idea of him coming in as this judgment to her of telling right from wrong. I mean, does that, and I just think long term, does that foreshadow, does Sansa and fucking Stannis end up teaming up later on in the endgame stuff? She sees him as this almost judge of right and wrong.
Very similar to Ned himself.
I'm wondering if that's not her inspiration, is hearing from Cat and Ned that Stannis is iron.
He's always a just man. He's very...
And so maybe Sansa will take the Knights of the Vale and aid Stannis as the one true king to... work out the North's independence. But I don't know. I just really liked the idea that she's putting him as the Stranger.
Yeah.
And some of the visions we got from Dany in the House of the Undying that may reflect Stannis. Mm-hmm. It was cool. So
good shit.
Yeah. I guess Sansa, for the comparison.
The sweet analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So I'm going to go with Lawless.
Lawless.
Yeah, dude. And I think one of us you might have given it to Lawless back when Shay was being a fucking cunt about it, saying, "Oh, she's all fucking upset because she got fucked," and it's like, dude, she was raped by over 50 men. Like, fuck you, Shay. But yeah, she's like. Good for her for coping as best she can with her PTSD, man.
Yeah.
Like, battle sounds are going off. People are freaking out.
Right, that's it. She's probably getting freaked out again
like,
because it's fucking the same sounding effect that happened when she was raped 50 to 60 fucking times.
Dude, it's wild.
And her own mother is embarrassed. Her sister's a bitch.
Like, the poor girl's pregnant. She's like, fuck, dude,
no, it's sad.
So,
and even Sansa's callous about it. Like,
yeah, but yeah.
She's still just like, oh, if she could avoid him, she would.
But
like,
it's more just the.
I mean, it's not her problem by any means.
Yeah, and she was very sympathetic to Lawless. In that,
well, like Sansa definitely is better than Shay. She's not like, why is she whining? Like, and sickness, being pregnant isn't sickness. Like, you know.
even she realizes that.
Right, like acknowledge the fucking pregnancy, Mom.
I think we'll bring her in, give her a hot meal, let her see some of the septons and maesters that we've inducted over the 8 years there now, and just kind of let her settle down for a little bit. And I'm gonna bring Lawless in.
Word. So we also got an inductee from Julian in France, and he says, hello.
What up?
I hope Stannis does the same with this one. Yes, girl. Men at war throw each other's swords into the river. 100%.
Yep.
Apart from that stupidity, I still liked how she pretends right after that. It is beautifully wrought, Your Grace. She's learned how to lie. Good girl. My inductee is going to be the Stranger, the most intriguing face of the god of religion in the Seven. Sansa seems to make the Stranger Stannis, surprising thought, as he is supposed to be uncle to the king, and more importantly, he is brother to the king Sansa had always known as a child. Anyway, have a great night, and the best of luck. Valor to Harris.
Spectacular inductee. Let me just first state, doesn't everybody throw their fucking opponent's sword out into the ocean?
Yeah,
as soon as they win a
definitely,
battle?
I don't think that's Sansa's stupidity. I think it's her just saying, like, in defeat, like, Stannis will strike him down.
No, that was a stupid thing to think.
Similar,
stupid.
Yeah, okay.
I'm with you, Julian.
All right, sure. Sansa's I'm just a stupid girl with stupid dreams, that Stannis will throw Joffrey's sword into the Blackwater Bay.
Yeet.
And so, yeah, thank you, Julian, as always.
The
Stranger, again, that comparison was really interesting. I do also like the point that you brought up that she technically has known him as brother to King Robert, and someone Ned is
that made me
familiar with. And
think his little comparison there and bringing up Robert and her bringing up Ilyn. How cool would it have been if he was the King's Justice? Stannis is the King's Justice instead of Ilyn Payne.
I mean, it would have made sense.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was thinking, like, that just popped into my
Robert
head
was
right
a
there,
douche.
Like, and so, like, Stannis would have been the best King's Justice. Fuck you, Ilyn Payne.
Right.
Like, Stannis would have been a sick King's Justice.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting, the association people are. So does that make Robert the warrior to Sansa?
Yeah.
The old drunken king. But yeah, the association with the gods is always cool. We always appreciate hearing from you. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you.
Those were our thoughts, feelings, and inductees on Sansa 5, which leaves us with a couple more Sansa. I believe 4 Sansa chapters left to go.
Because, again, we are going to bounce back and forth for some quick ones here with the Blackwater battle.
Davos' last chapter is next. Davos 3.
And
that is his
battle,
final.
His Blackwater chapter. It's
a
big one.
It is a long
Not
one.
huge, not super long, but it's going to be so good.
It's
going to
be good. And so that's it, folks. That is the start. Well, this was the start, but Blackwater Bay is lighting on fire next chapter.
Get us some fucking inductees.
Get us inductees for all of Blackwater Bay, the Battle of Blackwater Bay, because we're there. We're in it, and we're wrapping up the end of this book.
We're sailing through the green flames, and that's where we're going to leave you until next time.
Valor to Harris!
Peace!